Hello, my pretties. How's it going, Justice Warriors? I'm going to give you guys a second. I appreciate you so much. Just when you think you're figuring out all the ins and outs and all the slip of the thumbs that can happen when you're doing a live stream, there's this one thing that it does that I don't understand to save my life. Hey, Bex, thanks for coming over. Yay. I thought I would just kind of chill for a minute since there were people already in the other one and give them a chance to get here so they don't have to be replay crew. But we can go ahead and get started because we got Annie Ruler and Bex. Awesome to see you guys. Thank you so much. Tiff Justice Foundation. Excelente. Oh, I missed you tremendously. Friday was my last video. I probably was in a chat or a panel on Saturday, but no live from my channel Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days. That's all I can take. Blonde Gypsy, Nene, NTN49. That's a cool handle. Nene, I like it. Okay, so let's jump in. I titled this one Overreacting because squirrels, I missed you so much that I said your name when I was talking shit instead of the person I was talking about shit. That's hilarious. I caught your entire live from last night and I couldn't believe I missed it. But you know what? I was asleep and I really needed my sleep. I was toast yesterday. That's why I didn't do a live. I was 100% toast. And I got a good night's sleep last night. Very busy today, but I'm making this happen. So here we are. It's just a few minutes after 2. I got a lot I want to talk with you guys about. But first, let me show off my cute little squirrel yoga mug filled with veggie juice. Oh, I'm just so good, aren't I? I do try. I'm getting more and more committed to this whole yogi thing. And I'm not sure what I'll do when I get my certification, if I might teach in person, might teach online, might do both, might do either. Totally not sure, but I am doubling down on my commitment big time. So I've been doing it kind of half-arsed. And you know me, I'm either all in or all out, and I want it to take. I want it to work. Oh, I just dropped my stupid thing. Look at these hats that somebody sent to me, one of my mods. Justice A to Z. I'm giving away this black one today and this white one that's even still in the packaging. But the only way I'm going to give these away is if you guys promise me that you'll do something funky on them because they're so plain. And I do have a couple more of the white ones, so I'll be giving those away in the next few days. This is the one I think I want to go with. But this mod was so freaking awesome, sending me 4 different ideas in hats. And I know they cost a lot of money, you guys. So I'm going to be really excited to give the black one away at the end and give the white one away at the end. And we'll figure out how to do that. So I did catch Shan's entire 3-hour live. And she's reacting to a reaction of a reaction. And I'm going to react to that. So yeah, we're all overreacting. But it's actually really serious. So maybe I should cut straight to the chase, but I don't want to lose track of you guys. So let me first get caught up with you guys, and then I'll get straight to the heart of the matter. And Mark says, hello. Thanks, Mark, for being here. Thanks, mods, and thanks, everyone. I'll do a Divine Justice, a.k.a. Mrs. G, the Honey Badger. Thanks, chat and fans and haters and lurkers and trolls alike. Thank all of you guys. Anyway, on with the show. Glad you got much needed rest. Yeah, I really did. Much better. Makes all the difference in the world. I get so depressed when I'm tired. I think I'm depressed, and I'm like, no, I just need to sleep better. So, Shan, I caught that for the last half of your live. I replayed. I think we knew what you meant. I'm not sure what you mean in that part, but I caught the part where you said you're going to send me a t-shirt. So I'll text you my address to send it to, and I'm excited. And for anybody who is interested in getting a membership to Squirrels on Fire, it's $2 a month. And I actually haven't done that. I'm embarrassed to say, but I'm going to take care of that by the end of the day. And, I have cash apped Shan because I love to support her process and just to support her in general. And I know that she doesn't have another gig, so I don't think anyway, but that's okay if you do. Anyway, I love to show my emotional support and financial support to Squirrels on Fire. And I always want to show my emotional support to Mark Molina. And yeah, seriously, Mark, let us know if you're struggling. You don't seem to be, like, financially, you seem to be very sound. But did you get one of those job offers? Anyway, we're on to this. Your tropical blue shirt came in today for me to do a special print on. Ooh. Emulsion will be here tomorrow or Thursday. Oh, exciting. Super exciting. Wow. And you didn't have to go through all of that, girl. That is awesome. Hello, all. Missed you, Jazz. I missed you guys so much. Tiff and Reese from Perdition. Yeah, like Saturday, I was ready to do a video, but it was a crazy weekend. I have my son and his daughter doing their big move at the end of this week. So it was the last weekend that we had. Full house. Anyway, let's see. Tiff, I'm gonna have to pick a color this week too. I'll DM you at some point this week to see the color choices. And yeah, so if you do your membership to Squirrels on Fire, she's doing another giveaway of her t-shirts tonight for members only. So cool way to get the whole thing going. The way I went from talking about your t-shirt back to saying that bitch. You say being a bitch like it's a bad thing, that's what I always say. Sometimes being a bitch is all a girl's got to hang on to. That's a Stephen King quote from Dolores Claiborne. A lot of people know that quote, but yeah, it cracks me up. Because sometimes you just got to be a hard ass, and if you're a guy, you don't get called no biatch usually, but women, we get slapped with that all the time, like just for being assertive or showing our unlike of something or dislike. No, like people thought I was talking about you. Like I said, it's not like it's a bad thing. You can say that. I know it's coming from a place of love. Grandma Jazz, no, not yet. No, they got married on Halloween, but they are planning on waiting 5 or 10 years, which is good. But we have baby dog, so that's the new one that you see in the photographs that I posted like around Christmas. Yogi is their little baby, so that's our grand puppy, our grand doggy. Hi all, I need to get membership too. Happy you're back, Jazz. Your absence was felt. Oh, that's so sweet. 3 whole days. I know, it's hilarious, isn't it? But yeah, this is my jam, you guys. You guys really help me help myself. So I am doing completely simple with the setup. I hope the lighting is okay. I'm just trying to simplify everything in my life. That's part of being a yogi, is just the whole less is more. And you know me, I got my little knit pumpkin and my felted wool mouse, and then that silly, adorable squirrel with the mushroom backpack. And, I could go on and on with the cats and the armadillo. And that's all a huge distraction. I mean, it's cute, but I seriously want to stay focused. So let's get to it. The members list will be cut at 6 p.m. and I'll do the giveaway after Fee goes to sleep, since I'm adulting away for the next some hours. Yeah, doesn't adulting just suck sometimes? That's what my son and his wife are realizing, but they're doing it. They're doing it. I had to take a break from it all for a minute. Yeah, Blonde Gypsy, I missed you. When certain creators find out that you have very personal connections to Ellie in their area, suddenly you are involved. Oh, interesting. Super interesting. Um, yeah, I have very personal connections to law enforcement, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. So one of the things with being a yogi too is always being honest, which I'm already like that. So I think that's super cool because yeah, there's just no need to ever tell an untruth. If you are feeling like you can't share something, just say I can't share that. Duh. I'm not at liberty to discuss that. Hey, how about them Mariners, right? Hey, outdoorsy life and Alice Moral Dennis. No fancy background is needed, just your lovely voice and face. Ah, so sweet. Okay, so I am reacting to you, Shan, from your video last night. And I know in your video you were reacting to Mrs. G. Mrs. G was reacting to A AJ. I'm just going to use those initials because, yeah, I don't want to be fanning the flames. But I think it's really important to discuss. So I catch as much of Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the honey badger, as I possibly can. I just tune in, and that's kind of her attitude too. If someone says, "Oh, I'm late," she's like, "No, you're right on time." Just whatever works for you. If you can only be there 5 minutes, be there 5 minutes. If you can be there the whole time, be there the whole time. If you want to go in and out with your chat and such, that's cool too. But yeah, what I wanted to discuss was in Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the honey badger. I think, was it from the night before last? I think I listened to it yesterday and I was about to vomit too. Or maybe I listened to it this morning before I saw that you had a live from last night. Because at first I didn't even realize that I missed one, Shan. Um, so what I had written down, and I have two notebooks today, because simplify, but it's really gross. So I'm gonna put like a major trigger warning on this video, and I'm gonna give you guys a major trigger warning right now. And then I'm gonna cry and then I'll say it. Okay. So freaking trigger alert, especially if you've ever been assaulted in the most personal way. Okay. Just be ready. It's bad. It's freaking gross. And you guys might already know what I'm talking about if you are keeping up with the whole thing. And it is hard to keep up with the whole thing. And I do what I can, and I feel like I catch just enough that I'm right where I need to be. So reviews, roasts, and reacts. I think I'll be doing one of those a week. Excellent. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing the reacts a lot because I'm constantly mentioning other people's videos because they inspire me. And sometimes they put holes in my brain. So those are the ones that I try to stay away from. Some of them are good information and some of them aren't. And I just, we all need to be very selective about what we're allowing into our lives. So, Megan, in one of her videos, and Mrs. G recorded it, said, here it is. This is the trigger warning. Something to the effect of, I just want to know if there was semen in Kylie. Super disgusting. I don't think I ever caught that. I don't like to think that she was assaulted in the most personal way, but I think that what is logical, because that happens a lot at parties. It just does. It's horrible, it's hideous, it's heinous. I've always thought that there's a high probability that that was part of what had happened. And we all know that MC has a lot of inside information that the rest of us aren't privy to. So for her to say that about Kylie's remains, she wants to know if there was sperm inside of her. it doesn't necessarily mean that she was assaulted, right? She could have had consensual relations prior to becoming unalive. So that's important to keep in mind too. But if she did have some DNA inside of her that was not hers, it would be imperative for that individual to be grilled profoundly. So that's my concern, is that even if it was consensual, was she tested for that? Because all I remember from the autopsy was, oh, there's no signs of an SA. So if there's no signs of an SA, but there were signs that she was, I'd like to say, sexually activated, right? That's from the movie Juno. So she had an IUD. So we know that she was sexually active, at least had been at some point, and planned on being maybe more in the future. So whoever she had those relations with, if indeed there was anybody's DNA within her, that's some of the most crucial information. And was it even tested for that? Was her were her remains tested for that? Let's just leave it there. Let me keep up with you guys. Yeah, it's good to take a break for a minute, Blonde Gypsy. Absolutely. Sometimes we all need that. And if you don't feel like you need it, then that's cool. But sometimes you just get to that point where you're just like, you know what? I got to dip out. Good to see you, Shan says to Alice. And I'll have to catch up on lives. Shan's live from last night, fell asleep. Yes, I was reviewing with all her vids from the past 24 hours, minus her 2 full lives. Looks like another show of the poop emoji coming up at 3. Oh, is that over on AJ's channel or MC's channel? I mean, I don't watch either of those. I barely ever even peek, because I don't think I've ever peeked at MC's, because duh. And I feel pretty much the same way about the other one. But I did peek in on it during Shan's live the other night, and it was pretty flippin' hilarious. I think that was Friday night. And yeah, Larissa's been addressing the issues very well. So thank you, Larissa, for that, my dear. Yep, she said it on my live. I knew what you meant. So funny. I know these typos. It's annoying, isn't it? Yeah, my theory too, lad. I caught you live. Hey, Kimberly Walker, lovely to see you. I bet law enforcement didn't check. Well, Mark, that's what I'm thinking, because they probably didn't want to know, because they probably did know. And it was very likely the Hamburglar's kid, in my humble opinion, possibly. Maybe I should question mark that. Could it maybe possibly have been the Hamburglar's kid that was possibly having relations with both her and Scammy, perhaps above boards, perhaps not above boards, perhaps something happened that night that set Scammy off, like a fit of rage, like a crime of passion, like maybe her and Nate. I mean, Kate, maybe her and some guy were back on again, and then he was hooking up with Kylie, and maybe something like that happened. Those things happen at parties. Come on. That's like what parties are for when you're that age, right? Anyway. And yeah, I totally bet they didn't check, because, a lot of information they don't want, and a lot of information they're instructed to not want. And yeah, I think that whole case was fumbled intentionally, accidentally, on purpose, as Shan would say. Hey, Shelly, someone has scheduled a live soon, has been threatened and shot at. I don't think so. If anything like that is happening, go to local law enforcement. And why would you talk about it on YouTube? Because then you're just like making yourself a target for any rando that's like, oh, cool, I could get in on that action and get away with it because there's already someone else doing it. I think that's just madness, utter madness. Hey, all, hopping in, Jenny Poo. And I want to say right here, let's have a moment of silence for Marie's adult coloring. Apparently, she passed, and she was a regular on my channel for pretty much the whole time I've been doing this. It seems like a very sweet woman. I didn't have that much interaction with her, but it's very sad. So let's just have a moment of silence for Marie's adult coloring. I have no idea how old she was or anything. I know she was having health issues. Um, yeah, it's sad to lose somebody, even when you only know them in cyberspace, like our friend Mark Meeker. I always forget his last name, and because it's kind of close to Mark Molina, it really throws me a monkey wrench. But yeah, Mark Meeker is our friend that was transitioned several months back, and that was just devastating. And we all miss him. He added so much to our freaking lives. He was amazing. And when he was on panel, and then he had his own channel too, didn't he? Someone scheduled a live. Yeah, so who is that scheduled that live? Hey, Jenny Poo, and CB, and yeah, Jenny Poo. It's a busy time of year, huh? Life interfering with your YouTube. How dare it? Girl fights are brutal. And who was it who brought up the other day maybe a possibility of Kylie fighting for money? I can't remember. Do you guys remember who brought that up? Probably one of the content creators that I watch usually. But I thought that was a really wild concept, and anything is possible. Anything. Because they would do that with their club of fighting. They would put wagers, right? Kind of like horse races. But yeah, we've said it all year, and we keep going back to it. Why was there no need to fight about who won this time? Not this time. That needs to be scrutinized because it seems pretty obvious what that means, right? That means that it was obvious who won. There's absolutely no need to fight over it because, you know, maybe they cleaned the floor with them, so to speak, right? So who won? Who lost? Was that the person who does all the yakking on the channels, all the the one who has her own mic and the one who's like the leader of the search and the one who knew everything that was going on? I mean, that girl implicated herself about a million freaking times over, and she just kept re-implicating herself, in my humble opinion. Yeah. Mark. Let's see. So true, possible truths, especially vindictive girl fights. So let's not investigate. That's what I was laughing at, Mark. Yeah, cat fights can be brutal. Absolutely. And, I always think more like in the metaphorical sense, like not the physical, but certainly physical too, especially if someone really has a chip on their shoulder. And there's somebody in this story who seems like she's always got a chip on her shoulder. Wonder who that could be. Sounds good to me, Mark. No report taken. Kimberly, you guys are funny. It's comedy hour. Oh, yes. And Shan said it at the end of her live. If you haven't checked out the last two Upchurch videos, please do. He is addressing trafficking head on, and I love him for that. I absolutely am so appreciative. I think that that is paramount with all of this. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you, Ryan Upchurch. Good job. Well played. Oh my goodness, prayers to Marie's family. Yeah. Yeah. Let me highlight that one. And I did want to talk a little bit about Maui and also the three shots in the dark. Have you guys heard of that 2020 from this past Friday night? They did a very extensive documentary on the Mo Wilson case, and it's really good. It's very well done. So it's just the last regular 2020 episode. It's called Three Shots in the Dark, and I highly recommend it. Highly. I don't think you can watch it on YouTube yet. So, like, if you have Direct TV, I have it on Roku, so I watched it, I think, on Hulu. Let's see. Yes, I know Squirrels, you were very close with Mark. I know you miss him a lot. The original Mark, so funny and witty. Well, you're original too. I mean, you're the original Mark with a K. He's the original Mark with a C, right? I miss Mark like crazy. He's still the father of squirrels in my heart and mind. That's really sweet. Yeah, and I always think of his Axomaxa profile pic. It was, the Grateful Dead skull with the blue, red, white, and blue, and the lightning bolt. That's called Axomaxa, I think, isn't it? Or is it called Steal Your Face? Either way, that was him. And yeah, I'm an old deadhead myself. I'm sure you guys have figured that out. Well, I've shared that before, but also I quote their songs quite a bit, as I quote a lot of songs quite a bit because it's fun, because I love music. Don't we all? Our midnight chats, rest in peace. There's no denying Fight Club or MC saying Scammy told her that and Kaylee fought. Yeah, Squirrels, you and Ara and Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the Honey Badger, and Ninja Chihuahua, Mark Molina. Who am I forgetting? Larissa, CNY. I think there's a couple more that I'm spacing on, but thank you for bringing things to light, even if it was not missed, even if it was brought to light before. Then we go and forget about it because really we all have short attention span. It's an epidemic. It's a pandemic. It's part of our culture with social media and just too much information, just being bombarded with information. It's crazy how we forget these things that are so central. Um, why was that said for sure? Yeah, why? And when she said it, she kind of dropped it like a hot potato. It seemed to me she was probably doing a oh shit, did that just come out of my mouth kind of thing. So then she probably started talking crazy to try to like hide it under some word salad. Isn't that how it's done, Shan? Musty's new name is Methy McCarthy. That's hilarious. That's a funny one. Oh man. Did she cover for Nate or Jaegermeistro? Um, well, and it's always been my thought that people felt abandoned by her because of uh, being broken up with, possibly. That's one possibility, and that they took matters into their own hands, and that a lot of people could have been in on it, and that would be consistent with divine pathways. She did a really good tarot reading a few days ago based on I think Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, had asked her to, and some other folks had asked her to. And she was trying to confirm or deny the crazy stories coming out of Chillicothe. And she pretty much denounced those crazy stories. But she had her own crazy story that is very much in line with what I have um, come to believe as a very likely scenario. And that includes being trafficked for a brief period of time before things went sideways and she was unalived. Um, And I think that we all know the teenager who could be a madam in that sense. And if she already fought with her and injured her and um, maybe even uh, roofied her, then she could get other people in on it. So nobody would tell because they got the blood on their hands, so to speak, right? As many people as she could get involved, the better, because then there's going to be alliances to those people, and nobody in that freaking town will talk. Like, nobody gives an F about that girl, that Neiman girl. Like, give me an effing break. And she knew that nobody gave an F about her, or was she just singing that song to one or two people? It's chilling. It's absolutely freaking chilling. It's disgusting. Anyway, let's stay caught up. Say it with a lisp. Matthew McCarthy. I can't speak with a lisp. Not on purpose anyway, only I can probably do it by accident. Hello, sunset. Eminem for short. That's a good one. I like it. That's a really good one. Not the cool Eminem, not the 8 Mile Eminem. And not the good, yummy candy stuff either. But yeah, that works. I hit the thumbs up on the way in, Jazz. Well, thank you. And that was one of the things that fell. Let's see. My thumbs up. Please hit that thumbs up button. It's the only sign I'm going to show because, you know, less is more. And if you'd like to check to make sure that you're still subscribed and share the video and turn on your notification bell to ring, if you please. So, not the last video I made, but the one before that got a lot of views. And it was actually on the Idaho 4 case. And that was my crazy theory about the criminal defendant maybe working for a medical courier company. And again, just to reiterate, I'm not saying that I think that he worked for one. I'm just saying that that could be one scenario. And, you know, his alibi is basically that he was driving around in the area. So why would you put that out there unless you knew that the rest of your alibi was rock solid? But when you've got law enforcement planting evidence, if you've got law enforcement planting evidence and they want to hang something on you, the lingo is, and they like you for a crime, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do. If they like you for a crime, they could plant one of the victim's IDs in a glove in a box under some socks with a fox. Jewelry, panties, easy to take them from Moscow and plant them in a plastic baggie in Pennsylvania. Easy peasy. Come on. You know, people always say like, "Oh, well, if there was this evidence, if his DNA was there and then their DNA evidence is, you know, located in his car, then we know we got him." Really? That can't be planted? Okay, then. Yeah. It's sad that we have to question law enforcement, but we do, especially in Moscow. Idaho is crazy. And the judge is talking some crazy smack too, in my humble opinion. It's the first time I've thought that, and I do not like it. Where are we at? Um, no shows on Kylie. Why exactly, Mark? Thank you. I've asked that and I saw you asking that. Was that in your last live? Like, where's the 2020 on Kylie Rodney? Where's the 2020 on the 16-year-old girl from the Lake Tahoe area who went missing at a freaking graduation party? Huh? Where is it? We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I will be making some Mark Meeker shirts here in the next few weeks. Awesome. I'm going to highlight that one. And yeah, I'm going to keep up with you guys and then get to my notes. Also, if they were drinking, could a fight one-on-one turned to others jumping in? Oh, what a realistic scenario, Kimberly Walker. How come I've never thought of that or heard anybody put that out there? Could be how a fight turns into a red rum if that's what happened, did Kylie have bruises, arms, hands, neck, face? Well, there was the marooning on half of her skull under the hair, I believe. And Shan did a really good job in her last live pointing out that the marooning would have to be all over her scalp to be something with lividity. Like that indicates a bruise, that indicates being hit in the head. Whatever happened, fight or not, something serious went down for a bunch of kids to panic into mass exit. I agree, Shan. Word deceased could be why. I'm not sure what's your reference there. Any blunt force either. How did I miss that one? That's weird. I missed a couple of them. Here. Kimberly Walker, thank you. Any blunt force either, like improvised weapon in a fight. Sometimes girls pick up things to hit each other, like purses, rocks, whatever is around. Ugh, yeah. Right. And again, to explain if any DNA or hair was found on a rock, it's like, oh, well, remember she tripped and fell in that hole and her DNA probably fell onto that rock at that point. Right? Isn't that how it happens? And the statement, I will go to jail before taking, and the leverage Kylie might have had. Yeah, Mark. So not only was it so crazy that she said that, because again, she's implying that there's information that she has that would get other people put in jail, but she will take it to jail and she'll take the sentence herself and spare everybody else because she's trying to get them to do that for her. But what creeps me out the most about her saying that is the fact that the whole room laughed and clapped. Like, that's the freaking Truckee way if I ever saw a Truckee way. So they hear, oh my God, deceased, and then that's it. Everyone starts running. Yeah, yeah. Kimberly, something happened to cause marooning of the tissue in the one side of her skull. Yeah, isn't that gross that we have to talk about her remains like that? Her beautiful temple that her soul lived in became evidence, potential evidence in a potential homicide. And yeah, the whole thing with the lungs, I was forgetting the weights the other day, but people have been going over it again and again. One lung weighed 100 and the other lung weighed 110. And the two of them together weighed 220. And you guys are all familiar that a pair of adult lungs from a drowning would probably weigh 1,300, I think it's grams, give or take 400. So somewhere between 900 and 1,700 grams. And yeah, your right lung is always bigger than your left lung because of the heart taking up some space there. So that's why they're always different. Yep, sounds like impulsive grab and thump to me. Agree. Thump, skull breaks, she goes down, someone screams, oh my goodness, and the kids start running away. No skull fracture, but marooning would imply a blow, not lividity. Okay, thanks. Yeah. You could be on that, I think, medical company. Trained people helped somehow. Well, and why are parents going out there cleaning up in the middle of the night? Like, they're not going to do that for any of their kids, in my opinion, especially in the middle of the night. If they were going to go clean up for their kids, I would think that they would wait until morning but I don't think a lot of parents are going to go clean up for their kids. They're going to make their kids clean up. If their kids left a bunch of beer cans and red cups and Reese's peanut butter cup wrappers and whatever laying around, glow sticks, the parents would just be like, you got to take care of that, or you're going to get cited probably. I would think that they keep a really close eye on that in the Tahoe area. Trained people help somehow. New Year. Happy New Year, dang it, Nancy. I love your handle name. Thank you, Jazz, for keeping our spirits up over the holidays. You have such a beautiful soul. Oh, you're so sweet. So even though I haven't been making videos over this long weekend, I did put up a few community posts. So I put up one of my favorite yoga sayings that I really connect with, which is for someone, a person wounded by civilization, yoga is the salve for the soul, basically. And I just, that really speaks to me on a deep, deep level. And a person came in and made a comment, and it was kind of odd because they were acting like they were the victim and that us content creators are out here fighting the war for all victims when a lot of us have been victims ourselves. I mean, I don't think of myself as one at all, but in reality, I'm just in denial because of what happened when I was 11. And, I talk about it to neutralize it for myself, to help bring it down a notch, to have a further understanding. But also, I feel like in helping myself, it's going to be helping someone out here in YouTube land. I spent many years being really embarrassed that somebody would try to take my life out, as if that meant that I was not a valued individual or something, that it was an insult. And it is an insult. It is. It's like the worst insult you can imagine. But we're here fighting for our own issues. I mean, if you don't think you have your own issues, guess again, right? I mean, we all have our own issues. That's just part of life. And I definitely feel like I'm fighting for people that can't fight for themselves, but I just kind of got a weird sense from this first comment that somebody made, and I tried to come back with basically what I just said without going on and on for a paragraph or two. But it's just interesting the things that people project, and I said in my comment, like, have you been watching my channel because I talk about this? I'm not just out here trying to protect people that need protection. I'm out here trying to protect myself too. I mean, it's all a part of the learning how to make your life safer. In studying these cases, I feel like we're all trying to make the world a safer place for ourselves and our kids and everybody. That's my spin on it. So anyway, we're already at 42 minutes. I'm doing a pretty good job keeping up, but I still haven't gotten to my notes and the 3 shots in the dark and the Maui case. So, which is good because I really wanted to just talk about Kylie, but then I was like, oh, but I got to mention these other things. And yeah, Kylie, 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 Kylie. Say her name. Kylie Rodney, Kylie Rodney, Kylie Rodney. Can I say Kylie effing Rodney? Because this is insane that we're out here fighting for law enforcement to do an honest investigation, to honestly rule out if there could have been any foul play. That wasn't even looked into. They botched the vehicle, finding the vehicle and the removal of the vehicle. They did that on purpose. Again, the accidentally on purpose. Come on. And if it wasn't on purpose, they still should be fired. At the very least, they should be investigated for botching a situation, botching a case. Grr, I get very mad. Thank you for saying goodbye, Tiff for Justice. Gotta go. Thank you. Thank you too. And Kimberly says, first responder types. Otherwise, why say I'm here to help? So you're talking about the Idaho 4. And yeah, that's a really interesting quote. I'm here to help. But again, it's coming from Dylan, maybe, and maybe just coming from the person who wrote the affidavit, the corporal who is the lead detective in the case. So was it really said or not? Because all of the screams and thumps were pretty much left out. And there's just no way that those things are going to happen quietly or even fairly quietly in a tiny little space like that, which is one of the many reasons that they knocked that MF thing down. She had no lividity on her head if she was in the water. Sorry, it feels like KR mom knew she was way too accepting. Shan, can we know if any life insurance policies on KR? Yeah, I agree. And way too quick to move on. I got bills to pay, and you guys need to get some hobbies, and you know, weaponizing her kids' lost life, weaponizing it and lashing out when she's at the celebration of life, the alleged celebration of life. I think fell in a hole was to explain away the head trauma they knew happened. Yeah, I can 100% agree with that, squirrels. Definitely Shan. Her lungs combined didn't even weigh that one of a non-drowning victim lung. Yeah, funny, not funny, huh? Yeah, they're like literally the size of a 1-year-old, not even a 2-year-old, maybe a tiny, tiny, itty bitty 2-year-old, at the bottom of the scales. You know how they have like the people that are off the chart tiny and they have the people that are off the chart big for growth. Maybe the 2-year-old that's like off the chart tiny in the lowest 5%. Lungs, so not full when she was already deceased. Right, and that's a telltale sign that it happened before she was put in the water. I mean, her being in the boot of the car, I like the way they call it the boot in the UK. That right there, being in the boot of the car, and apparently she was strapped down, right? I mean, that might be why Nick R was so freaked out. That might be what they were referring to when they kept saying obvious signs of foul play. And that was more than one of the people in AWP who said, we know that there was foul play. And then Nick R got so defensive of that. Oh, I never said foul play. I used the word suspicious. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. Suspicious is kind of the same thing, but whatever. Do we have toxin autopsy public? Any ruler? Could someone be jealous of Kylie? Thunked her in the head over whatever her mom was too accepting of. Well, and if the one that we think is the one who's made herself look so guilty, if she did it and she went to her parents and said, "Oh, mommy, poppy, help me, protect me, something bad happened," and what do I do? Like they control a lot of the finances in Truckee. And so that's not a family that you want to make enemies with if you want to, say, run a business in Truckee, right? Kind of goes without saying. So she would have a lot of leverage in a community run the finances that are run by her parents, not to mention the Hamburglers. And, they run the finances not just in Truckee, but globally. They really do. And they have for generations, like going back to the great granddad. The most major business deals internationally. So, for example, Kylie mom pushes her into something. Kylie does it. Jealous person finds out. Kylie goes to party. Jealous person thumps her. Pushes her into something. I'm having a little bit of trouble following that because it sounds like that it's something bad, like that Kylie wouldn't want to do. I don't know. Maybe you're implying. Oh, hold on. One of my lights has some ridiculous thing set on it. Did you guys hear that, or did the noise canceling take care of it? So stupid. I got to figure out how to turn that off. So it's like every day at this time of day, it goes off. It has a little alarm. Anyway, Tell the truth for Kylie. Accountability and justice for Kylie Rodney, please. Absolutely. 100%. Raise from Perdition says, is cleaning up after the teens party of Megan's cleaning job? Could Daisy have been with her cleaning up after the party? Forgive me, I'm not up on Megan's activities other than the gross statements. No, that's a very good question, and we don't know. But it brings up a lot of good points, like if something sinister happened and then the parents were out there cleaning up, then they're all freaking accomplices after the fact, accessories after the fact. So yeah, everybody's going to keep a lid on it. And Scammy says, don't worry, I'm not going to throw you guys under the bus, right? Because you guys are accomplices and accessories. So, I'll take your names to jail. Not to worry. I got this. I got this. Those are Lindsay's words. We got this. Like, what a weird thing to say. We got this. Your daughter's deceased. We got this. Gross. It's completely incongruent. It makes no sense. I can't find emancipation or life insurance claims, Shan says, but I do know Lindsay had hella price tag on those PPP loans. Yeah, she was having to pay them back, right? She was in a lot of trouble, a lot of financial trouble. She had bills to pay. And yeah, if something happened to her kid, and then the people in town that run a lot of the finances said, well, we can help you if you can help us. Okay. Gross. Gross. I thought there was a life insurance policy on Kylie. We speculated if she had the clause of red rum included. Right. And yeah, that we've been around and around with that, and I don't know the answer. I don't know if Shan does too. Why else would her mom not tell the truth and just move on so fast? And the weird Twin Peaks vibe. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Twin Peaks was filmed right outside of Seattle, just east of Seattle. I was living in Olympia, Washington when that was going on. And then they started filming Northern Exposure out there in that same general vicinity. A little bit further east was Northern Exposure. Hi, guys. Hey, Terry Barker. Just speculating weird lodge vibes. Yeah. Well, and just her music, I think that there would be a lot of jealousy around her talent and around her recording, around the recording that she put on Spotify. And then that guy, Crepe, like he's pretty famous, isn't he? The guy who's singing on the track with her. I mean, that's pretty big feather in her cap, it seems. And it's a great recording. I mean, I seriously think it could go mainstream. I think it should. But really, there should be a professional documentary made about her, and then that would be the soundtrack, right? I mean, it's been the soundtrack of so many people's videos, and it took me a while to realize that that was the song she put on Spotify. I thought it was a famous song that fit her situation. Like, did I feel so silly that it took me forever to put two and two together? But that's okay. Let's see. Rebecca Soul, Fire Within. I like the fire in the belly. That's kind of my thing. The fire in the belly. Kylie passed at Boca, in my opinion. Whomever went with her on a hiking trip knows what happened. Agree. That's gross statement. I love those pictures of her out rock climbing. Those are some of my favorites of her. The male and female that were with her. I'm not familiar with that. Because I thought you were going to say the male and female that were with her vehicle in the Nick G account of things, if that's even true. So Billy Darling is here. Hello, Billy Darling. We're just getting towards the wrapping up part. Nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Twin Peaks. Yeah. That guy. Creepy AF. What was his name? David, was not David Leary. Something with an L. You guys know. I'm just going to look it up super fast. Are you guys putting it up yet? Twin Peaks. David Lynch. David Lynch was the guy who was so creepy. So he played the deputy fire director, but he like wrote it or directed it too, didn't he? Dennis Leary. No, he's a funny guy. Dennis Leary's great. Have you guys seen, is it called Small Soldiers? It was one of the very last movies that Phil Hartman was in before his wife offed him and herself. You guys remember Phil Hartman, right? He was one of my favorite comedians. So he was in this movie. I think it's called Small Soldiers. It might be Toy Soldiers, but I'm pretty sure it's Small Soldiers. And I think it was Dennis Leary who played in it. There was a really good cast. Kirsten Dunst is in it when she was really young. And Spinal Tap, the Spinal Tap band members are in it. They play the Gorgonites. It's pretty awesome. And Tommy Lee Jones plays like the military man, like a cartoon kind of thing, claymation, robotic kind of thing. And let's see, where are we? AAA guy knows more than he's saying. Yeah, AAA guy is, I think, possibly a plant, and possibly even a plant by like AWP by Jared. People had said that way back when, and I was like, no way. I don't know why you would say that. What are you talking about? What could you be thinking? But yeah, I think that might be it. So, sadly, so many possibilities. Dennis Leary, let's see, Rebecca, the appraisal lady, Jessica, that found bodysuit. She knows where the Boca lady is that was afraid to talk. And when you say Boca lady, are you talking about the person that worked at the campground that sent the emails that said that all this creepy stuff was going on and they couldn't take it anymore and they quit? Because to me, it sounded like some weird stuff was going on, maybe in a trailer over there at Boca. Fred says, I fell asleep in my chair watching Mark. I will replay crew this. Thanks for coming in, Fred. Nice to see you. So the Maui fire. Check this out. I'm going to put a link to Brush Junkie's most recent video. It's got more information. I have just very sparse notes here. On July 9th, some Maui officials tried to gain authority through, I think, the city council. That was sort of their plan A, and that fell apart. The liberties were not granted. So then their plan B basically was the emergency proclamation they made at the end of July, somewhere like July 22nd or 23rd, I think. Whoa. And that was stupid. Something else fell. Man, gravity sucks. Literally. Okay, so the emergency proclamation, I love what Brush Junkie said. She says, this is the first time in history that an emergency proclamation has been declared before the emergency. And she calls it a planned attack, and I think she's right. I do. So, 3 Shots in the Dark is the 2020 from Friday night that is about Colin Strickland, Mo Wilson, and Caitlin Armstrong. You guys know Mo Wilson was the 25-year-old professional cyclist who was shot in Austin, Texas. And it was sort of not an active love triangle, but essentially a love triangle. Colin was a playa. He didn't just play with those two. He thinks he's like a rock star. And apparently, that's just his thing is, being a man slut. So anyway, allegedly, from what I've heard people say, in my humble opinion. Anyway, he's also a dirtbag. I mean, just the way he attacked the investigative journalist coming out of the courtroom when he stomped on the guy's foot, like, shouldn't he be arrested for that? That's an assault, and it's on videotape. So, I mean, at the very least, he needs to be that needs to be addressed legally. I would think that the person that he victimized addressed it, but I don't know. Anyway, these people, much like the couple in Australia that the husband ran over his wife the day before New Year's Eve. I don't have their names in front of me at the moment, but I made a couple of videos about them, and that is so disgusting. But these superstars, these sports superstars, seem to think that they're above the law. And it is grotesque. And it's the violence against women. I've said it 1,000 times. I despise violence against women, but I despise even more when women are the perpetrators of violence against women. It's like, it's bad enough that women are victimized so often, but then really women have to go and do it to other women. Like, Caitlyn could have taken that out on the culprit of her problem, which was the dude. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, for her to go after Mo as if that's going to fix everything and then she's going to live happily ever after. Whoa. But it's a very well done documentary, and I love when they do that. And there's a lot of new photographs, a lot of new stuff that you've never seen. Very interesting. They interviewed people at the retreat where Caitlin Armstrong was trying to hide out in Costa Rica. What a freaking scumbag. Let's see. So yeah, let's get to the signing off part. We're just past an hour. We're just expiring, turning back into the pumpkin, right? We need to remember in future cases that some wild things do happen, and sooner info gathered early, evidence fast stays. Yeah. And Raised from Perdition 2 times says, well, Florida has had state of emergency called before hurricane, but yes, I agree they called it and it was sus. Oh, Raised from Perdition, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, but the hurricanes were on their way. The other thing with the hurricane that they tried to blame those winds is that's not even possible. So these like 70-mile-an-hour winds, and it was like everybody said 70 miles an hour winds. Like, I think it was Brush Junkie a couple months ago who said that's weird that they all came up with that same number, that they all didn't say different things like, oh, those winds were like the strongest winds in the world, or those winds seemed like they were at least 70 miles an hour, or those winds seemed anywhere from like 50 to 100 miles an hour. No, they all said 70-mile-an-hour winds. Okay. So again, it makes you think that they all hatched a plan together. Like, this is our story and we're going to stick to it. So those winds weren't possibly from no hurricane out there. And they also defied the structure of the mountains and the way the wind blows around Maui, because Maui's a windy place. It's a windy place every day of the year. It seems. Again, I haven't been there. Almost tried to get the whole family to go there for Christmas to try to help support the place. But man, it's going to be so much trouble with 3 years, they're saying, until there's going to be a good septic sewage situation set up. 3 years until they have clean drinking water. Like, they're doing a really good job of just clearing the place so that they can build a smart city or do whatever the heck it is that they want to do. The land grab, the water rights grab. We can't forget that the native islanders had won major lawsuits that were cooking for 20 and 25 years. So the state of Hawaii was due to start making payments on like a $230 million settlement to the native islanders Their first installment was due in September. And then the case with the water rights, the Native Islanders that won the water rights had to have their applications in by August 7th in order to get the rights that they already won. And then it all literally goes up in smoke and nothing. It's sort of like, so the state tried to win these things the legal way and that didn't work, so they just resorted to other measures. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a crazy conspiracy theory, in my humble opinion, allegedly. Okay. Rich Lux. I always like to give him credit. I don't want anyone to think I'm going to try to pretend that I invented that, because I didn't. And he is so funny. If you haven't checked him out, I love him. I think he's the bomb. Let's see. Hurricanes are predictable. Fires are not. Yeah. So I think I said this, but maybe I didn't. And even if I did say it, I might have glossed over it. In watching the Chernobyl documentary on HBO Max, it reminds me of the photographs out there in the woods of the major, like, lightning bolt spark that may have started the first fire in the middle of the night, like 2 in the morning. And I used a still shot of that in one of my thumbnails a while back. Like, half the screen of the still shot, I think, it's like a silver explosion in a forest of black trees. And I really wonder if there was some top secret military operations going on out there with things like the whole direct energy weaponry. I mean, none of it makes sense, you guys. Everybody that reports on being a Lahaina local said that it was normal to have like one Navy submarine off the coast in downtown Lahaina, like every day. But that the day before the fires, there were several out there, several. And that people noticed right away and thought that's weird. And then there was no warning on cell phones the night before that this major windstorm was coming. So even though there were no warnings about that, that doesn't mean they need to skip the warnings about the fire and the evacuation. And even when they skipped the warnings about the fire and the evacuation, that doesn't mean they have to not properly evacuate people. They had so many chances, opportunities to do things the right way, and they continued to do things pretty much the opposite of the right way. The whole thing with blocking off the roads, the whole thing with shutting down power, shutting off water, shutting off internet access. And it seems that people in that area have been having a lot of trouble still again lately with internet access. So, they're all discouraged heavily from talking about it, and especially from, talking to media sources. It's creepy AF. Okay, so we are going to wrap up this time. I'm going to catch up with you guys and then sign off. Thanks so much for being here. And don't forget to hit that like button. I always like to show it twice, right? Just to be sure. Moderate snow here now. Rain, snow mix this AM. I just missed a ton. Sorry. Oof. Had to call winds. Yeah, so the Maui massacre, the planned attack, as Tracy from Brush Junkie says, and I think she's on top of it. Rain up here on Great Lakes. Hurricanes don't behave the way they claimed. Hey, Angel, we know ahead of time what areas are going to be hit, and the winds are lesser on the backside. What's going on in Maui is just criminal. Exactly. And, I just think it's important for people to keep talking about it, to not get distracted, just like with Kylie Rodney, to keep talking about it. G's coming in. We'll do replay. Hey, Sherry. What Maui right now news? Just that they're having trouble with internet access, that they're basically being isolated from the world again. The timing of Moochie, too much about the date to not feel conspired. Right, the August 7th and August 8th, exactly. That's why I was bringing it up again. And then, as much as a land grab, it's the water rights grab, big time. I suspect very planned. The DEW, in my opinion, right? The direct energy weapon. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the photograph of where the fire started in the woods, like deep up in the mountain, along with the way state fires and Canada fires. Think same group with drones. And then they were not allowing drones to fly around, and they were probably still really uptight about that. Saw the picture of you and your mom. She was a beauty. Oh, thank you. She was. She was a cool person. Um, Fred, Annie saying basically, I think that she's 62, but she feels like 66 human. No, temperature. The 62 degrees feels like 66, humid day in Cabo. Well, that's kind of a nice temperature, 66. I like that. 67 is like primo for me. Um, Group is from Australia and London. They mailed things back and forth, supplies. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Kimberly. We have a huge thunderstorm right now here in South Carolina. Ooh, I love thunderstorms. They said sprayed some trails this week before was reported. Hey, Brenda. I feel Kylie had such good things going for her. I feel jealousy played a huge role in this. Bad girl Scammy will regret her actions one day. Thank you for keeping this case alive. Rest in peace, Kylie. I am so endlessly grateful for Shan and everybody who keeps this case alive. Seriously. Seriously. And, I don't like to always give shout outs to the same people, but Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, she's really gaining traction and she's doing a really good job, you guys. If you haven't checked her out, you might want to. It's pretty interesting. And they used a homemade napalm. I turned all this into Homeland. It was definitely planned. 88. Um, so, I was talking about the Chernobyl documentary that I watched on HBO Max, and that is so fascinating. But yeah, let's do wrap up since I've said it a number of times now and haven't done it yet. We have tons of weird power outages. Yeah, winds are whipping here. And government and drones and tornado watch until 6, and Angel says wind advisory till 10. Mark Molina says age versus temperature, ouch, lol. Granny Annie is 63 years old. Oh, that's funny, so close, right in there. And Fred is proud to say that he's 76, the year of the independence, right? 1776. I'm saying it's an Aussie and England props based group did Maui that is into that number. Oh, Kimberly, thank you for that. That is a really nasty number, like talking about the eighth numbered letter of the alphabet and two of those H's. And yeah, a lot of hate, a lot of hate. Sorry to make you say it again. That's all right. Yes. And Annie's sweetie is 75. So, yeah, age is just a number, and we all have to take care of ourselves. I mean, if we're not feeling good and if we're not healthy, it really does not matter what number we are, right? Um, I'm just going to glance at my notes one more time to make sure. So yeah, I want to apologize again for having to go there talking about the thing that MC said that Mrs. G highlighted, that Squirrels on Fire highlighted, um, about what was inside of dear Ms. Kylie. It's just so gross to even think anything remotely like that. Um, I despise it. I really do. So there is no smart city that can keep the angry spirits from haunting them. Well, yeah, we all saw the Brady Bunch where they got the little idol, right? You don't mess with Pele, man. Do not mess with those island spirits. And having been to the Big Island, which is where I could really feel the island spirits, I didn't feel island spirits so much on Oahu. The um, technology and industry, I think, cancels out some of that energy, or at least my ability to feel it. I never understood what that phrase meant until I was there on the Big Island and could feel the island spirits. Um, we're so uh, overstimulated with radio waves and electricity and so much else in our uh, continental US, in the 48 states that I live in. You get out there, almost 3,000 miles off the West Coast, and there is not that interference. So it's a completely different experience. And I highly recommend it. I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of places in the world where you can get that, but Hawaii is known for it. It's a very magical place. It is very magical. Um, so, Smart City Ghosts. And all right, you guys, we are wrapping up. Gonna end up haunting forever. People, new houses. Love and light. Peace out. You guys have a great afternoon. Take care of yourself. Eat well. Get your exercise. Get some sunshine and fresh air. And you know the drill. Drink your water. Be kind to yourself, to others. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Thanks again for being here.